Welcome back to Lowcountry View. My name is Earl Yates. I'm your host. Our second guest is going to be David Warren. David Warren is running for Town Councilman, Ward 3. David Warren has been here for about 30 years, so his background comes from Hilton Head, and he knows a whole lot about what's going on. So he looks to bring his experience to the table as a councilman. David.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Now, like I just said, you've been here for 30 years. You're bringing not only the experience of what you've done since you've been here, but also the knowledge of seeing the development of the island from purely a sparse amount of tourism population come in to where people are now starting to do second homes, to now we're at a point to where we really need to reinvent ourselves.
Absolutely. I mean, when I first got here, resort and developer real estate was the king. That's what drove the business that came here. That's what actually drove all the resort business. The reason Sea Pines has beautiful golf courses was really not for a golf revenue. Originally, it was to sell real estate. And what we have now is the developer real estate is gone. The resort business is actually struggling somewhat. And what we need to do is look for new economic drivers. The island is really, it's critical that we find a place that we have a diverse economy. The people on this island are really struggling. And I think that being here 30 years, I've been able to see the development of the real estate, the development of the resort, and the development of all the businesses around it. As a marketing consultant, you end up really understanding people's business constantly. And it's a change, and it's a change we need to take. And one of the changes we need to do is really go out and aggressively bring in new businesses, clean businesses, community-oriented businesses, but businesses that work for Hilton Head.
Now, being here for 30 years, of course, visiting before you came, so you've seen Hilton Head as a kid and grown through the whole process. Now, from a business standpoint, what have you done on Hilton Head as far as career-wise that would make you a very ready person to face?
Well, for 30 years, I've been on Hilton Head working in marketing and promotions. 12 of that was with the Sea Pines Company as their director of sales and marketing for both the resort and the real estate company. So I feel very comfortable in the two drivers that brought us here. But also I've been involved in business development, sales, and branding, which is really the skills that are going to be needed to take us to the next level and bring us forward. And that's what I think differentiates me from some of the other candidates, is that I do have this marketing and branding expertise, and that's what's going to be necessary in the next years. The other thing that's critical is that through our accommodations tax dollars, the town is actually the largest marketer, outgoing marketer to branding Hilton Head. And that is very important, that you need someone on council who can look at those dollars, make sure they're being spent wisely, make sure that the target markets are right, that the marketing message is right, that the media plans are right, and so that the town money is being spent in a really credible and effective way.
If it was blessed that way that you were our new councilman, Ward 3, what would be the first thing that you would look to change as far as the town goes? I mean, you've already spoke about how we need to now advertise ourselves more. We need to get out to the public better and tell people who we are as a town, not just as a tourism destination, but as a town.
As a town and a community. Clearly, one of the critical and most important factors in what you just said is making sure that we keep the tournament. The tournament is not only $81 million of direct economic impact, but even more so than that, it's hundreds of millions of dollars in our branding and awareness all over the country. This is what really brought the name Hilton Head to so many homes. And it's critical that we do that. So as you say, we need to go out and brand and market Hilton Head. This is one of the true components of our branding that is very important. Beyond that, I think we need to look at new markets. We need to say, what is our resort visitor? And who makes up the resort visitor? And what is the best way to reach these people? And bring them down here and make sure that they have a wonderful time, they understand the community, and they become part of the community. Same thing with the residential community. The residential community is made up of some retirees, people working, but really what's going to change in the future is the baby boomers coming down and being semi-retired. They're going to be consultants, they're going to be salespeople, but they need things that we can provide them, which would be communication, the technology infrastructure to be able to do this business within their semi-retirement.
So what do you think we're missing as far as if there's a billboard that says anything about Hilton Head, what are we missing right now that is not being said or told to those who would eventually come to the island?
Well, I think that Hilton Head has always had a wonderful brand as a great place to visit, a great place to live. We have great weather, we have great people, we have beaches, we have abundance of golf and restaurants and retail and things like that. I think what's missing and what I would like to change is this focus on how do we redevelop Hilton Head. And that gets to the land management ordinance to make sure that redevelopment can be done in a really logical way. That is an ordinance that was written to slow development down, and we need to make sure that we can redevelop now. That includes proper marketing, that includes things like the tournament, dredging of Harbor Town, all these things that become sort of what is Hilton Head and what is our brand and what people look at us as.
Well, I tell you, since you've been here for a while, you've seen the coming and the going of our Shelter Cove Mall. Mm-hmm. What's your vision for that?
Well, the mall, it's important to understand that the mall is privately owned. So it's not something that we can come in and really say to the owners of the property, this is what we think you should do. But what we need to do is make sure that the LMO, the Land Management Ordinance, is changed to a place where someone can redevelop the mall. The mall doesn't work right now. So it may need a small or a major redevelopment, but it needs to be done in a way that the owners of the mall, or if they want to sell it, new owners could come in and make changes. Because right now, it is very difficult to change what you have there. And obviously, that business model is not working.
Yeah, it's, with friends, it's been an ongoing joke about how, of course, the park behind it is doing better than the mall itself.
Yes, absolutely. And that park is owned by the town.
Yes, and it's an amazing thing because you have Broad Creek behind the mall.
Oh, sure.
I mean, it's a phenomenal place.
Yeah.
It's probably, it's of course right on the opposite side of the marsh from Old Oyster Factory, who sells himself as having the best
view on the island. Yeah, so it's just you're looking the other way.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the same view.
And it's an amazing thing. So it's very good to see that you're in touch with the island, not only from a marketing and financial standpoint, but also from a beauty standpoint.
Well, and I think that comes from also being very involved in the real estate community and understanding how Hilton Head developed. Hilton Head has developed in a way that was very well planned. I mean, what Charles Frazier did was really very incredibly innovative. And for us to be able to take the town to the next level is going to be on our shoulders. I mean, we are no longer sitting on Charles's plan. We have to say, how does this become a sustainable community into the future beyond real estate? And there's, we need to be the number one in doing that. We were the number one that started a lot of the principles of development, resort development. And so now we need to take it to the next level.
Well, David, it's been a pleasure, and I will have you know now if you are the new councilman for Ward 3, I'm going to hold you to the label of being the second coming of Charles Frazier for sure.
I was fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with Charles. And Charles was a very, very unique and truly one of the geniuses that I've ever met. I don't know if I can live up to his legacy, but I will love to try.
Absolutely. Well, David, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
It was wonderful to pick your brain a little bit and see exactly what you would like to have in store for Hilton Head.
Well, I appreciate it very much.
Well, this has been Lowcountry View of Hilton Head, and of course, I'm your host, Earl Yates. David Warren, running for Town Councilman Ward 3, has been my guest, and it's been a pleasure to me, and I'm sure it has been to you. Have a good night.